So, I'm going to talk about one of the greatest hypocrisies and sleights of hand that I see constantly performed by the Trump administration and their supporters. And they really do this constantly. And what I've noticed is when they're talking to other Americans versus when they're talking to people from other countries or about other countries, their entire attitude toward the American left completely shifts. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay, like basically, when they're talking to other Americans or about America, they will constantly say the American left is awful, the Democratic Party's awful, blue states are awful, every Democratic administration has been terrible and has been ruining the country and has been causing so many different problems. However, when they talk to anyone or about anyone from other countries, suddenly they will just absolve the United States, including the Democratic Party, including every Democratic administration, of all blame. They will say, well, we never pushed liberalism on Europe. No Republican or Democratic regime ever, like no administration, Republican or Democrat, has ever promoted liberalism to Europe. We've never pushed liberalism on Europe. USA never promoted liberalism within Europe. Like, it was entirely Europe that did this to themselves. And notice how they completely shift the entire argument. They completely code switch from, when addressing domestic issues, the Democratic Party, blue state America, American liberals are the devil incarnate. But when addressing issues related to other countries, like in Europe or other parts of the world, suddenly the America didn't do nothing wrong. The Democratic Party didn't do nothing wrong. It was entirely these countries that did it to themselves. There was no USAID influence or any American NGOs. The WikiLeaks about Estonia, that never happened. Denazification in Germany and Austria, that never happened. American policies post-Cold War limiting the buildup of the German army by law, that never happened. No, Europe did this to themselves. They weakened themselves. They turned themselves into liberals and leftists. There was zero American influence whatsoever. So it's very interesting the way they will code switch depending on who they're talking to and what context they're talking about. If it's talking to other Americans or addressing domestic issues, the Democratic Party is the devil incarnate. But if they're talking to non-Americans or addressing issues in foreign countries, suddenly the Democratic Party or America at large didn't do nothing wrong. It was entirely these other countries that did it to themselves. And another context in which I've noticed this is the way they talk about blue state America itself. Because when talking to other Americans or talking in a specific domestic context, they'll talk about, blue state cities are shitholes, or any Democrat-run cities are absolute shitholes. Blue states in general are shitholes. These places are terrible. They're it's crime-ridden. It's full of homeless people and garbage. It's, they're lazy. They're freeloaders, blah, blah, blah. They'll say these cities are complete shitholes with no redeeming qualities whatsoever. But then suddenly, when talking to foreigners, when talking to anybody who's not American, they will say, American cities are amazing, including Democrat-run cities, including blue state cities, including all of them. Oh, no, we have the best cities in the world, actually. And they will talk endlessly about the productivity and innovation created by places like Silicon Valley, Hollywood, and New York City. And it's like, hold on, wait a second. When you guys are talking to each other, to other Americans, you talk endlessly about how these places are shitholes. And you talk about how they're unproductive, how they're mismanaged, how the leadership there are corrupt, how these blue states are just a drain on the rest of the US. But then when talking to foreigners, all of a sudden, no, blue states are amazing. New York City's amazing. San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Hollywood, Los Angeles, all these places are awesome. And they produce so much amazing stuff. And they're very productive. They're very efficient. They're very innovative. and they're amazing places that the entire world needs to follow and model themselves after. They're truly bulwarks of innovation. They are at the forefront of innovation and progress. They're just such amazing places, amazing cities to live in, to visit, to work in. Like, all these cities are awesome. These states are awesome. It's just the flagrant extent to which these people will code switch. And I've seen this over and over again, constantly on Twitter. Like, I will see them say to like in domestic discussions that blue state cities are absolute shitholes, but then when talking to foreigners, they'll be like, actually, American cities have the lowest crime rate of any developed country. It's European cities that are way worse. Our cities are totally safe. And I see them even making copes like that black on white crime doesn't happen. I've seen that lately too. Like, when talking to Canadians or Europeans, be like, oh, black on white crime, well, that's not an issue. Blacks only kill other blacks. Gangbangers only kill other gangbangers. And it's like, really? Because I hear you guys, when you're talking to other Americans, talking about how black on white crime is an epidemic and how innocent Americans being preyed upon by criminals, like mostly black criminals, but other criminals too, to a lesser extent, how that's an epidemic in these Democrat-run cities. But all of a sudden, no, when talking to foreigners, oh, no, it's not a problem. Gangbangers only kill each other. Oh, blacks only kill other blacks. Blacks only victimize other blacks. Gangbangers only victimize other gangbangers. It's like the sheer code switching. It is so flagrantly hypocritical and transparent. Like, these people are just liars. They have no integrity. They have no consistency whatsoever in their beliefs. They will do a complete 180 in what they're saying, depending on who they're talking to and depending on what context they're talking in. They are completely inconsistent. And don't get me wrong, all people can be hypocritical. All people can be inconsistent. I am sure there are times when I'm hypocritical and inconsistent. But here's the difference. If somebody called me out on it, I'd at least be willing to look at that. And I don't think I've ever been as flagrantly hypocritical as this. Like, the extent of this, it is just flagrantly two-faced. Like, it doesn't even, these people don't even try to hide their hypocrisy. They will just immediately switch from saying American Democrats are Satan, Democrat-run cities are shitholes, to saying, no, America's awesome, Republican and Democrat alike. Other countries are to blame for all their own problems. We don't do anything wrong, and American cities are amazing. They will completely, like, do a complete 180 on all these things depending on who they're talking to. And it's really like, it's always like, oh, we have to maintain a united front. I feel like that's what it is. It's like they feel that they have their own internal divisions, but when talking to other countries, they have to act like they're totally united, like they're the United States, like they live up to their name. But I mean, it's so transparent because you see any circle where they're talking to other Americans or about other Americans, and they will constantly acknowledge how divided the country is. But then all of a sudden, when talking to foreigners, it's like, no, America is totally united. We're all on the same page. We all want Greenland. We all want Canada. We all support Trump. We're all innovative. We're all hardworking. Like, it's obvious how much bullshit this is. And I see this constantly. And it just really disgusts me because it reminds me, like, go back 10 years, 15 years, there were tons of people on the American right talking about how the US deep state, USAID, all these NGOs are subverting Europe constantly and subverting other parts of the world to promote liberalism, to promote immigration, multiculturalism, abortion, feminism, LGBTism, to promote atheism, secularism, to promote, like, all these things, basically. Like, they would acknowledge it and they would oppose it. But now all of a sudden it's like, no, America didn't do nothing wrong. Oh, these countries entirely did it to themselves. And it's like, you guys are just so full of shit. You betray everything you stand for, you once stood for, allegedly. And like, I just, this level of sheer hypocrisy is disgusting.